Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are going to be learning how to cut a 6 pieces blouse with a princess bustier that cut. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do right now is to take the necessary measurements, okay, which are the shoulder line, the bust point, the under bust, the half length and the top length of the blouse. So first thing first, I'm going to roll my shoulder line, and for my shoulder line I'm going to mark out my bust point. Still leaving my tape there, I'm going to mark out the under bust, and I'm also going to mark out the half length and then the full length of my top. I'm just going to use the whole pattern paper as the full length of my top. Afterward, I'm going to go to the shoulder line, and then I'm going to divide my shoulder measurement into two plus half of an inch allowance, and then I'm going to impute it there. So whatever I have as my shoulder measurement, I'm going to also bring it down, as that's going to serve as my armhole line. So I'll just mark the 7.5 inches just to create a straight line for my armhole. So having created that, then I'm going to take my neck circumference of 2.5 inches by 3 inches length. So you can use 3 by 3 if you're in the bigger size. And then I'm going to create my neck curve. Afterward, I'm going to go down by 1 inch, and this is going to serve as my shoulder slope. The next thing I'm going to do now is to impute the circumference of my bust. So I'm going to divide my bust circumference into 4, and whatever I have there, I'm going to impute it on the armhole line, so I can be able to create my curve for the armhole. So having done that, I'm going to divide whatever I have left from the shoulder slope. I'm going to divide it into 2 and then mark that out, going by half of an inch. This is to reduce any bulginess in the armhole area, and then I'm going to connect the 3 dots to form the armhole curve. Then afterward, I'm going to divide my nipple to nipple measurement into 2. Whatever I have, I'm going to mark it out. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm just marking that out to create a straight line. Then afterward, I'm going to connect the dots together to form a straight line. Having done that, I just went ahead to label the lines so as to reduce any confusion. So the next thing I did here was to extend the armhole line. That gives us our chest line, and then also extend the nipple to nipple measurement upward. Afterward, now we're going to be working on the under bust contouring, and before then I'm going to just go down by 1 inch from the bust dart, and then I went in by ½ inch from the center front, and then 1 inch to the side front. So for the bigger size, you can do 1 inch for the center front and then 1.5 inch for the side front. So for a smaller size, you can do ½ inch for the center front and then 1 inch for the side front. So I took in ½ inch for the center front and 1 inch for the side front, and then I've gone ahead to connect it into the 1 inch that I came down from the bust point. And then I'm going to extend the line downward to make the top length. So I'm just marking out the ½ of an inch and the 1 inch just to get a straight line. So after marking that out, I'm just going to connect it with a straight line. So right now, having connected the line, I'm going to go to the armhole and then measure whatever I have to where my bust circumference stop. I'm going to divide it into 2, get the midpoint, and then mark it out. So after marking it out, I'm going to connect the line to make the nipple to nipple measurement. So I'm just going to be doing it in a curvy way. Just ensure that it's in a curvy way. So to do this, I'm just going to start with a dotted line so that I can be able to get the kind of curve that I want. And then afterward, I'm just going to go ahead and shape the dotted line out with my curve ruler to give me the curve that I want. So having done that, from the line, I'm going to go in by ½ of an inch and out by ½ of an inch. And then after taking in ½ of an inch, I'm going to be connecting it back to meet the back into the nipple to nipple measurement line. Just watch what I'm doing and then you're going to understand. After connecting the line, that 1 inch that we took out, we are going to extend it back. So I'm just extending this 1 inch we took out from this armhole back. Just watch what I'm doing, extending it back outside so that we don't have a shortage in the armhole area. And also from the chest line, I'm also going to go out by 1 inch, and then I'm going to connect it together. Just watch what I'm doing and then you definitely understand it's not that difficult. So afterward, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute the basic body circumference. So I'm going to go to the waistline. I'm going to divide my waist by 4 and then I'll impute it, and whatever that I have taken out from that waist, I'm going to add it back. So please don't forget to add back your dart. All right, and then I also go down to the length of the blouse. I'm going to divide my hip measurement into 4, impute it there, and also I'm going to add back whatever that intake that I have taken, and afterward I'm going to connect all the lines, the 3 dots together. Afterward, we're going to be working on our side dart, and the difference between my front half length and back half length is 1 inch. So from that bust point line, I'm just going to come down by 1 inch for my side dart, and from the nipple to nipple measurement, I'm going to go out by 1 inch. All right, so I'm going to go out by 1 inch, and then I'm going to slant in the line to make the 1 inch dot I marked out from the nipple to nipple point. So afterward, I'm going to go ahead to cut this out, and while cutting it, I'm going to close in the side dart. So don't forget to close in your side dart. So this is me closing my side dart because I don't want it to be open. I want to close it permanently. So I'm just going to fold it neatly, and then I'm going to tape it down. After taping it down, I will draw out my line back again to ensure that it's quite straight, and then I'm going to cut the remaining pattern out. So I've gone ahead to cut out the pattern, and this is what we have. So when cutting it, do not forget to take note of the waistline, very important. So I've also gone ahead to cut out another pieces for the extension. This is to give the extension of the 6 pieces blouse. All right, so what you have to do, just bring in another paper. Just watch what I'm doing. Bring in another paper, then place the paper from the waistline downward. Ensure the paper goes from the waistline downward. All right, so I've gone ahead to tape the paper down. Just watch what I'm doing and you definitely understand. Then from the length of the blouse, I'm going to go out by 3 inches. You can do 2.5 inch, you can do 3 inches, 3.5, depending on the length that you want for the 6 pieces blouse, right? So afterward, I'm just going to connect the line from that waist to meet the 3 inches dot that I marked out at the length of the blouse. So from the waistline, I'm going to connect it to meet that 3 inches dot I marked out. Take note of your waistline, and then I'm going to go ahead to connect the line back to meet the length of the blouse, then go ahead to cut it out. So take note that for this center front, we are just going to be doing it. Let's assume this is going to be placed on fold while cutting the fabric, right? So we're just going to be doing this just at this end, just one end of the center front. So I'm going to bring in the the other side of the top, and then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. But this time around, we're going to be doing it in both places. The first one is just one side. The second one, we're going to be doing it in both places. So I've gone ahead to do it. So look at what I have. I did the same thing I did for the first on this other part, but this time around in both places. All right, so take note of that. This is it for the front. So we're going to go ahead now to cut out the back pattern, and then I'm gonna ahead to bring another pattern paper. I'm just going to draw the necessary lines that I drew for the first. That's the shoulder line, the bust line, the waistline, and the length of the blouse. So this time around, because it's the back, we're not going to be using under bust. All right, and the length of the blouse is shortened by 1 inch because our front is 24, our back is 23 because of the side darts that we took out for the front. So I'm going to go ahead to draw out the necessary lines. So I've gone ahead to draw the necessary lines and also take out my zipper allowance, and then I'm labeling the necessary lines so that I can be able to identify them. Afterward, I'm going to go ahead to divide my shoulder into two with 1/2 inch allowance and impute it, and also extend it downward for my armhole, just as we did in the front. Having done that, I'm going to go ahead to take my neck circumference, and this time around 2.5 inches by 1 inch, because this is the back. I don't want the depth of the back to be too low. And then afterward, I'm going to go ahead to take my shoulder slope just as we did at the front. Then I'm going to divide my bust circumference into 4 and impute it there on the armhole area, and then create the armhole curve. Then having done that, I'm going to divide my nipple to nipple measurement by 2 and mark it out from the line, the zipper line. Take note of the line I am starting from to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement at the back side. Then afterward, I'm going to connect it to form a straight line. Then from the waist, I'm going to go in by half of an inch. From the waist area, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch, and then to form my dart measurement. This is going to serve as my dart measurement, and from the length of the blouse, I'm going up by 2 inches to connect my dart, and then I'm going to be connecting my dart into that 2 inches because I don't want it to get to the length of the blouse. So having done that, I'm going to impute the necessary measurements, and then this is my waist measurement. I'm going to mark it out and also take note of my dart and then replace it back. I'll do the same thing from the length of the blouse. I'm going to mark out my hip measurement there and then connect the 3 dots together. So having done that, the next thing we're going to work on right now is the zipper. So to reduce any zipper bug, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch and then connect the line to nothing, and then that 1/2 inch that I took out, I'm going to replace it back at the other end. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm replacing it back at this end, and then I'm going to connect it to make the other lines. So at this point, I'm going to divide my shoulder line into 2 to get the midpoint, and then I'm going to connect it to the nipple to nipple measurement. This is so that I can be able to cut this out so that we can be able to join the extension for the 6 pieces. So having done that, I'm going to go ahead to cut this out. Okay, here's what I have after cutting this out. We have 2 pieces, and then I'm going to go ahead to bring in another extension. Don't forget to take note of the waistline, right? Because that's where you're going to be connecting the extension into. So I've gone ahead to add my extension. Then this is it. I already added it to both paper. So for the back, you're not going to be adding extension at the zipper part. Just watch what I'm doing. You're going to basically understand. So just do it the same way that I'm doing it. You're going to understand. So for this point, I'm also going to go out by 3 inches, and I'm going to mark it out and also extend it into the waistline and cut it out. So having done that, this is what we have, and I'm going to go ahead to do the same thing for the other side. And for the other side, I'm going to be putting it on the extension at the 2 places. Remember how we did it at the front, and this one for the back. All right, take note of it. So I'm also going to go out by 3 inches on both sides and connect it into the waist area, and then I'm going to cut that out. So after cutting that out, this is what we have for our back piece, because you know that this is going to be placed on fold. So when you place it on fold on your fabric, you're going to be having 2 pieces each, and then you just go ahead to place this together. So when you place these 2 things together, you can go ahead to sew it down. All right, and this is what we have for the front. So this is my back and this is my front piece for the 6 pieces blouse. So this is how to cut 6 pieces blouse using Princess Bustier pattern. All right guys, I hope this was helpful. If this video was helpful, kindly like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And guys, please, you can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook. The link is in my bio, and I would really appreciate that. All right, thank you all so much for sticking true to my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.